Good afternoon. Today I am thrilled to introduce a revolutionary resource that has the potential to reshape our school's educational landscape, the integration and implementation of podcast. With over 5 million podcasts available, Gilcrush 2024, we can utilize this tool in the classroom to increase accessibility and engagement. With its comprehensive communication plan, this innovative approach holds the promise of ushering our classrooms and school districts in the most promising choice to transform how our students learn and how educators assess, igniting a sense of inspiration and hope for the future of education. My primary goal is to enhance teaching efficiency, provide personalized learning paths for our students, and elevate our county's standing through innovative educational offerings. You might be asking how we can achieve this goal. Here is a short breakdown of those goals that will begin the process of revolutionizing education. Incorporating podcasts in the classroom is one way to achieve that. By doing so, educators can enhance teaching effectiveness. I aim to integrate podcasts into 60% of our primary grade level classrooms by Christmas break. To do so, the district will provide professional development and support throughout the educational technology integration process. To begin, teachers and literacy and math coaches will select pre-recorded podcasts available through Apple Podcasts or Spotify. These podcasts will be carefully selected and vetted to ensure they align with our curriculum goals, impacting learning outcomes and increase student engagement and increase student achievement and engagement. Teachers will learn how to locate podcasts that align with curriculum goals throughout this process. Enhancing student learning will be at the forefront of this technology push. As teachers begin to feel more comfortable and confident with podcasts, grades 4 through 5 will actually get to create their own. Teachers will receive training on how to create and upload their podcast, as well as how to teach students to create their own. This will allow students to collaborate while gaining experience with technological devices and podcasts. Our focus is on our students' ability to be able to provide them a personalized and easy accessible learning experience. Students can listen to the podcast from anywhere and as often as they like. We want to encourage our students to engage with podcasts at least 70%. As more time goes on, we hope to get that number up to 85%. Due to devices and Wi-Fi connections outside the school building, this will take time. While at school, there will be time set aside in the master schedule to incorporate podcasts into the science and social studies block. In the first year, we will only integrate podcasts into that block. Next school year, we will reconvene and decide if it's worth actually pushing into the reading and math block. Our administrators will be crucial in pushing this innovation, and they will also be able to ensure that the podcasts are aligned with our educational goals. With their support, we can lead this educational revolution in our area. The timeline for this innovation has been carefully planned and will have started before teachers even return to the school district. Coaches and school leaders, as mentioned, will have pre-selected the first 6 weeks of podcast and the assignments to go with them to take some of the weight off our teachers' shoulders. Our school district is big on providing the first 6 weeks of plan for our teachers, so we wanted to ensure that the podcast will also be a part of that implementation guide. Podcast integration will begin before the teachers even come. So during the work week, teachers will receive professional development that is grade level specific, meaning kindergarten teachers will go to kindergarten podcast, 5th grade teachers will go to 5th grade podcast. That way we can ensure that the teachers are receiving instruction on how to do this that meet the needs of their actual students and their goals. So then during the first 6 weeks, teachers will receive more professional development to ensure that the integration process is going well. And we will also offer support where needed. During this time, teachers will learn how to vet their podcast for selection. And after the 6 weeks has ended, the hope is that teachers will feel comfortable and confident enough to where they will be able to create their own podcast and find their own podcast to integrate into the science and history block. There will also be bi-weekly check-ins with teachers and administrators for the first year to offer support and to help plan. Parents will receive access to the podcast in advance, and they can even opt out if they disagree or do not want their child to hear that podcast. Now, coaches will provide teachers with an alternative assignment to ensure that they're not overwhelmed by creating multiple assignments. As teachers, like I said, become more comfortable and confident, the coaches will take a step back to allow the teachers more freedom in their podcast selection. After Christmas break, teachers will also receive training on creating and teaching students how to create their own podcast. There will be extra support from technology during that time, so that way if there are any questions or anything that comes up, they have somebody in the building from technology to step right in and help. Our commitment to professional development and teacher confidence is going to be a huge part of this plan and its success. So in conclusion, my communication plan is designed to ensure that every person involved, regardless of their position, feels value and vital to the success of our shared vision. By embracing podcasts and following best practices, we're not only keeping up with the digital age, we're revolutionizing the future of education in our school district. And I want to reiterate the value of every person involved in this process, from the teachers who will be implementing the process, to the administrators who will be providing support, to the students that will be learning from them. We just want to thank you for your time and your consideration. I am confident with your support, we can transform the classroom and prepare students for their future in the digital age.